I used to think love was simple: trust, loyalty, and shared dreams. My wife, Samira, was my world. We laughed together, built routines, and whispered plans for the future late into the night. I trusted her completely, never imagining that behind her smiles and warmth, she carried secrets that would destroy everything we had. It began subtly missed calls, small inconsistencies in her stories, unexplained nights away. At first, I ignored them, telling myself I was overthinking, that love required patience. But intuition is rarely wrong. The small unease that had been growing quietly refused to be ignored. The proof hit me suddenly, like a knife I had been trying to avoid. One evening, I glimpsed her phone. Messages from a man I didn't know, intimate, ongoing, and undeniable. My chest tightened, my stomach sank, but I did not react impulsively. Anger is loud and temporary. Strategy is quiet and permanent. If I wanted justice and to reclaim my life, I had to be deliberate. I began documenting everything. Dates, messages, calls, receipts, every lie became a piece of a meticulous record. I observed her patterns, noting behaviors she assumed I wouldn't notice. Every slip, every inconsistency became evidence. At the same time, I rebuilt myself. I exercised, focused on neglected work, reconnected with friends. I became calm, strategic, and deliberate, the opposite of the chaos her betrayal threatened to create. Weeks passed. Samira continued her charade, confident that love would shield her from consequences. Her arrogance became her weakness. Each misstep she made, each careless lie, was another piece of the plan I had been constructing. I realized then that revenge does not need to be loud. It only needs to be inevitable. I did not want public humiliation. That is fleeting and shallow. I wanted consequences that were precise, quiet, and lasting. I wanted her to understand the weight of her actions without theatrics. I wanted the life she had assumed she could manipulate to shift under her own feet. The day I acted, I created an ordinary evening at home. I cooked her favorite meal, set the table carefully, and played familiar music. The calm, ordinary setting was the perfect backdrop for the revelation that would dismantle the illusion she had built. I slid the folder of evidence across the table. Her confident smile faltered for the first time in months. I began reading aloud, calmly and deliberately, dates, messages, calls, receipts, every fact irrefutable. Her composure cracked. She tried to explain, to deflect, to charm, but the evidence left no room for manipulation. Every attempt at denial failed. She had assumed love was a shield, that trust would protect her from consequence. She was wrong. I did not yell. I did not cry. I let the facts speak. Every privilege she had relied upon, my trust, my tolerance, my emotional availability, was withdrawn. The home that had once felt shared became mine again, a space no longer compromised by deception. I had turned heartbreak into clarity, betrayal into evidence, and deception into empowerment. That in the weeks that followed, I reclaimed my life. I strengthened friendships she had neglected, pursued ambitions I had abandoned, and rebuilt routines disrupted by her secrets. She attempted to manipulate and charm her way back into influence, but the power she once held over me was gone. Her carefully constructed world began to crumble quietly, inexorably. Friends and colleagues noticed inconsistencies she could no longer hide, and the foundation she had built on deception eroded methodically. The satisfaction I felt was quiet but profound. I had loved deeply, been deceived thoroughly, and emerged stronger, wiser, and more aware of my own boundaries. My revenge was not cruel or dramatic. It was the restoration of balance, dignity, and control. I had transformed heartbreak into clarity, betrayal into justice, and deception into empowerment. Months later, my life had regained stability. The apartment that had once felt compromised now felt like home. I rebuilt routines, nurtured relationships, and allowed myself to heal fully. The betrayal that had threatened to destroy me became a lesson in patience, observation, and deliberate action. Samira had believed she could cheat and I would forgive without consequence. She assumed love would shield her from accountability. She was wrong. Betrayal had shattered trust, but revenge, quiet, inevitable, and precise, rose in its place. It restored balance, reclaimed dignity, and allowed me to live a life governed by truth rather than deception. In the end, I learned a crucial lesson. The only power a betrayer truly holds is the power you allow them to wield. By refusing to be powerless, I reclaimed mine. Betrayal is painful, but revenge, measured, deliberate, and inevitable, can be profoundly satisfying. It is not the infliction of suffering that heals, but the reclamation of control, the restoration of boundaries, and the knowledge that one can rise from betrayal stronger than before. She thought I'd forgive, but revenge had already been planned. And when it unfolded, it was neither loud nor dramatic. It was deliberate, inevitable, and undeniable.